What's up, superheroes and evil doers? It is I, Isaiah, back with Silent Podcast, the place where everything but silent. Yes, we are here with my co-host Jake to talk about the Marvelous Duo. I gotta get that. Yeah, this is called the Marvelous Duo, where we talk about everything Marvel, DC, everything superhero. We love to see it. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be ranking all 29 MCU movies. This is going to be a battle, it's going to be a debate, and only one can be crowned the king of comic book movies.
I'm excited to see how our opinions are because there are so many movies since this thing started out. I forget what year Marvel started putting movies out. Oh my God,
May
um,
1st, 2008 was the release date
there
of
you
the
go.
first Iron Man movie.
Which is crazy. I don't think. Yeah, they included the Hulk, so technically, even later than that. But here we are. We're going to literally rank every single movie from the Hulk all the way to Thor: Love and Thunder, which we're not going to be able to rank since we haven't seen it yet. But they included it on here, so that's how you know is that accurate. Um, if you haven't already, this is the second episode, so if you want to check it out, we did a discussion last time about a bunch of things about our feelings on Spider-Man actors, our feelings on Batman actors, what we like, what we don't like. It was a fun time, so check it out. If you are on YouTube watching this for the first time, please drop a subscription. If you are listening on the audio platforms, because this will be in video form on Spotify, please give us a good rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Overcast, wherever you listen to, unless it's not a five. If it's not a five, save it for next time. Um, but here we are. Diego says we need an MCU TV show ranking next. We're planning on it. I'm just waiting for Miss Marvel to develop a little more because it's starting to get a little spicy. But we're
Oh my
planning
god,
on
I
it.
love Miss Marvel so much.
It's I'm having a fun time with it. But Jake, before we get started, what are you looking for in your favorite movies? What's a deal breaker to make it horrible? Like, what's your criteria?
So the thing is, we have a very interesting premise for a tier list. We're not looking for the best MCU movies and how they fit in the MCU as a whole. We're looking for the movies that we enjoy the most and we believe are the best made. So something that might not be great in terms of the MCU might be a fantastic movie for this list. I am looking for character study. I'm looking for compelling characters, good arcs, a little bit of comedy here and there, and something to surprise me, something different, an it factor. If it has that it factor, it most likely will be higher. And we'll get into that once we get to the Thor Ragnaroks and the Black
Oh, I'm sure
Panthers of
we
the world.
will. For me, firstly, I mean, I'm looking for character development. I'm big on like world building. I like anything to keep me engaged. So I like originality with this format because, I mean, I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but some of these movies can get a little formulaic. It feels like a copy and paste at some time. So,
What? The MCU being formulaic?
oh my
No.
god, shocker, hot take. But here we are. For our listeners only, this might be a little bit less structure like because this is a live stream. So like I said, feel free to watch this on the YouTube as well. But Jake, I say we just get straight into it.
Oh, let's
Um,
jump into it.
we're gonna have some music because no one just wants to just listen to our voices, right? So here is our tier list. As you can see, we're going to be ranking it from S to F. If you do not know what these means, S means the best, the greatest, the goated, and then F means trash. We hate it. All right, all that fun stuff. Is the music too loud before we continue? Is it fun?
I think it's good on my end.
All right, cool. I think it's good too. All right, so the only movie I'm going to rank out of order is Thor: Love and Thunder because it has not come out yet. So I gave it its own special little category. We have not seen it. I know the red carpet just came out and spoilers are dropping left and right. I've been dodging them. Do not spoil us if you're watching this live. But here we go. All right,
I
so
will
our
say one thing about Thor Love and Thunder that this is not
okay,
a spoiler.
okay.
Audiences have reacted very positively to Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher, which when the
Interesting.
MCU does a villain right, they do it right. I think of the Vulture. I think of Killmonger. So I'm very much looking forward to Christian Bale's Gore the God Butcher.
I'm excited. Well, okay. So our first movie, Jake, is technically the first, but some people call it the second due to technicalities. Iron Man 1. This is the movie we're seeing basically the origin story of Tony Stark. We're going to see I forget what's the name of the villain in this movie. What's his name? Bald guy.
Ironmonger Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane. We're getting to see Rhodey. This isn't Don Cheadle's Rhodey, but I mean, it's something, and we get to see Pepper. So a lot. This is Iron Man's origin story. How do you feel about this movie, Jake?
Iron Man is a solid. It cannot be anything less than an A tier in my eyes. Because if Iron Man would have been an objectively not amazing film, the MCU as we know it would not exist. And that's partially due to Robert Downey Jr. being such a fantastic and charismatic leading man, and also Jon Favreau being a fantastic director. The movie had a great character arc of a man learning the error of his ways not to follow in his father's footsteps and standing up to what's right. And technically, it's the first one to do the hero takes on a villain with the same powers. That becomes a little bit of a reoccurring thing,
Yeah.
but so I give Iron Man a solid A tier.
I'm gonna agree with. You know what? For now, because I might drop it to B. But for now, I'm going to agree with you where I enjoy this movie. I think it has a lot of rewatchability, which I forgot to mention is huge
Yeah.
when it comes to my ranking. Because if I can't go back to this movie, then I probably won't put it too high. But I've watched Iron Man 1 a couple times. I've never gotten tired of it. Specifically, my favorite part of this movie is the whole beginning sequence where he's kidnapped by the Ten Rings organization, which, by God, we've come a long way since then. But he gets kidnapped. He's expected to make this huge nuclear bomb or a missile for these terrorists, and instead he creates this entire suit and he becomes who we know him today. Who was the sidekick in the movie? Who was his assistant?
Vincent.
What a great character! I'm so sad we didn't get more of him.
I was so hopeful that he'd show up in Endgame somehow.
Yeah, I liked him a lot. So this is a solid movie all around, and I agree with you with the A tier, Jake. Um, let's move on to our next movie. This looks like it is Guardians of the Galaxy 1. So, my opinion on this movie, I actually enjoy it. I have watched it quite a few times. I think it's a great origin story for our group because this is the first movie where we're getting introduced to multiple characters at one time. I think it's fun to see anti-heroes because I don't count them as true superheroes. They're some bad apples in this group, but that's okay with me. I like the edginess of Rocket. I think Groot is a great sidekick. This is one of the few movies I don't mind Star-Lord. I'm sure we'll have opinions when we get to him later, but I think he did great. And Gamora, what a great actress. She a great performance she had in this movie. Who am I forgetting? Oh my God. Because we love Quill. Who's God?
Drax the Destroyer,
Drax.
Dave
Drax is
Bautista.
freaking hilarious. Batista did awesome. Uh, I'm trying to think. So villain wise, I do think this is a tad bit weak. I like the whole ending where you're losing grip because of the Infinity Stone and they all hold their hands. It's a great moment. But the out of all these movies, because as you can tell from the first podcast that we did, I'm a huge fan of villains, and since we're getting a lot of Thanos lore, Thanos lackey, I didn't really care for him too much. Was he that memorable? I don't think so. He was just kind of there. I actually enjoy, what's the blue dude's name?
Ronan.
Is that his name? Ronan? Yeah, Ronan. I like him a lot more, and I mean, I think he's way better in the second movie. But if it's up to me, I will put this one for now at a C. What is your opinion on it?
Okay, so we're about to disagree heavy because I
Go
have
for it.
Guardians as an S tier movie.
What?
Guardians 1, I think it's the funniest movie in the entire MCU. I think
Okay.
it rivals Thor Ragnarok for the funniest movie. 2, it
Interesting.
takes a team of characters that nobody knew Nobody was excited for a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Everyone was like, what the fuck? There's a talking tree, a talking raccoon, and the guy from Parks and Rec. I'm very confused. And you made them into these lovable characters that, and yes, Star Lord goes down the shitter pretty soon. But in this movie, I rooted for him. He he lost his mom to cancer. That is the big character arc, is learning to let other people in, and that is shown when he takes Gamora's hand at the end. You have the daughter of the main antagonist of the first 10 years of the MCU, Thanos. You have an iconic duo in Rocket Raccoon and Groot. By the way, James Gunn can make you care about a tree and cry when a tree dies. And then you have a breakout performance from Dave Bautista, who is absolutely hilarious, who this was the probably the only movie where they used him to his full potential instead of just a punching back fart joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, as for the villain, I understand what you're saying. I understand he's not the strongest villain, but I think
Not even just
that was the
strong, it's just like
point.
impactful.
I think that was the point.
Okay.
I think it was to show that Thanos can easily control these crazy people, and as soon as they get out of his as soon as they get out of line and they stop listening to him, they find a way to die.
Okay.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a fantastic movie. I clearly, since you're giving it a C, I don't think we're putting it an S, but I
So
would be
we can even
remiss
this
if we
out.
I feel like it should be A. Not as good as Iron Man, because I want to compromise. Under Iron Man, we might have to bump it down to B in a little bit.
Okay. For now,
But
I'll compromise because I was gonna say to equal it out, it would either be bottom A or high B. If you look at C and S, I'm willing to compromise for now. The fact that it's under Iron Man, we're going to have to see. The more we add to this, there's going to be adjustments. But for now, it's not a bad movie. I like watching it. I don't know why I think the second one has a softer spot in my heart, which is why I think I ranked it where it is. It's weird. It's weird. I'm gonna get to it when we ever
my
get
brother
to
in
it. But
Christ, that's towards the bottom of my list. So
it's not the see. They're not. It's not. Oh, I'm gonna save my commentary for it later.
do we
But
want to
all
just
right.
jump? Do we want to jump around a little bit, and because we
Sure.
just
Why
already
not?
started talking about it?
So we can do Guardians 2 now. Why not? Where is it at? Guardians 2. Okay. So my feelings, I think Guardians 1 overall is the better movie. I think plot wise, I think I think character development wise the first one's better. I think the second one plot wise is a tad bit better when it comes to lore because you're learning about celestials and eternals a little bit more. You're getting more Ronin and content with him actually as like a dad with
You mean
no, not
Thanos?
Ronin. No. God, I said Ronin. What's the guy a part of the Ravengers with the whistle thing?
Yondu.
Yondu. I think Yondu is like one of the best portions of this movie. He's probably one of my favorite characters in this movie. I enjoyed like seeing him like kill like his entire crew after they try to like betray him and everything. I think his dynamic in like comeback story with Quill was interesting. Baby Groot, I mean, who doesn't love Baby Groot? He's freaking hilarious. And I actually like Gamora uh role in this movie more. I think she's like more like unpeeled. She's like less like stuck up, and that like her dynamic with her sister was also fun to watch. And then I think the character, her name is Mantis. Is that her?
Yeah, there's Mantis in this movie.
Mantis, she's funny. I think her and Drax are freaking hilarious. And Drax calling her ugly, I'm not into you, and all this stuff. Like, I think they have a better idea of what they want to do. I just don't enjoy Quill. And I think that's what brings it down because Quill's the main character and him and Ego, like, it's just like, I think the second movie really is like hurt from like Quill's like stupidity because it feels like he's not like growing as a character. It feels like the like in this movie outside of like Gamora in like Rocket, it feels like everyone has like a what's the word I'm looking for? They have like a trope and like they're stuck at that trope the entire movie. There's no real development, and it kind of follows them into Infinity War as well. So I think that's the only thing bringing it down. So now that I'm talking about me, I wouldn't put it higher than Guardians of the Galaxy 1, but I would put it maybe C.
I'm
On
gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you for
yeah,
C.
yeah,
Um, I think Kurt Russell does an amazing job as Ego, the Living Planet. I think it's a
yeah.
strange choice for a villain. And I don't like the way he's defeated.
Hmm.
And I don't like the backstory reveal. I think it's creepy and unsettling in like not a good way.
Yeah.
Um, s- See, I held Guardians in such high regard for so long, and I was so excited for Guardians 2. And
Hmm.
Guardians 2, in my eyes, fell flat.
Yeah.
They reduced Drax, who was an amazing written character, to just ha ha funny dumb guy. Groot and Rocket were cool. Um, I found Mantis interesting, but everyone else I found relatively selfish, including Gamora and Nebula. Oh wait, Yondu was fantastic. I will say Yondu makes this
Best
movie not
character in
even
that
a tier
movie.
for me.
Yeah.
Um, I found, Gamora's like, pay attention to me, like we're your family to Peter, and Peter is just like no, my dad's my family, and
Yeah.
Nebula's just like, I want to beat you because I want a sister. I, it's just not a top tier movie in my opinion, so I'm good with giving it middle low C.
I wouldn't be shocked if we dropped this either.
Yeah,
But for now, for sure. You know what? I'm gonna meet you. I think I'm actually gonna put Guardians above Iron Man. I think you've convinced me.
I just want to say to the viewers at home, I said this was going to be called a debate club, and I stand by that.
All right. Um, I mean, while we're here, we might as well do the other Iron Mans. We can. That's what we can do.
Yeah,
So,
let's just
and
go series by series.
yeah, and then we'll save the Avengers Assemble movies for last.
Let
So,
me start with Iron Man 2. I'll make it
yeah,
really easy.
go
F
for it.
tier.
Really?
Iron Man 2, I think, is some ass. I think it is one of the worst movies in the MCU.
Explain.
It's boring. Like, and it's an Iron Man movie. It should not be that boring. It does the exact same thing as Iron Man 1, except this time you have a better actor playing War Machine. The final battle's kind of lame. The will they, won't they with Pepper is just so overdone. It's such an overdone trope in movies. Side note, I'm not a big Gwyneth Paltrow fan.
Oh, okay.
I don't want the candles that smell like her vagina.
Oh my
That's a
god.
that no, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. She sells like vagina scented candles.
What?
Dude, I think it's called like Goop or something. It's very strange, but good for her. She's making bank. Um, and
Okay.
uh, I th- I think the villain, which is so weak, he's one of the least. I know his name is like Whiplash. I don't even remember. I think it's Sergey or
Whiplash,
something.
something like
They
that.
wasted Justin Hammer. Thank God he's coming back in the Don Cheadle series because he's such a
Is he in
good.
Armored Wars?
He is in our Armor Wars. Um,
Ooh.
I think the movie is just not good.
Okay. So I don't think this is an F. I will say D, and here's why. I love War Machine so much, and I think that the whole plot line with I really enjoy the plot line where he's he has to go steal. First of all, he's trying to like convince Tony to like turn himself in and like cooperate with the government. There, he's like no, and then Tony's kind of getting way too cocky in this movie to the
Yeah.
point where Rhodey has to put him in his place, take one of his armor. They deck it out with weapons and stuff. I love all that. I love the final fight scene. I think Whiplash is not a memorable villain, but for this movie, he does his job. And I mean, that's kind of unfortunate because I think in all three Iron Man movies, the villains are just kind of like subpar. Um, I think he's just like I'm evil, ha ha ha. I hate Stark. He's like, bring me my bird. Like like you're not supposed to take Whiplash too seriously. But the fight scenes he has in this movie are freaking awesome. But the whole plot line with I forget what the competitor's name is, but like they're trying to
Justin
um
Hammer.
Yeah, Justin Hammer. I didn't care for him or like that whole plot line that much. It was just kind of like I'm just like some dick that wants to basically take Tony's like whole entire market and make it my own. Like it's a very like one dimensional movie. And I mean when we get to the other Iron Man, I mean I'm gonna have opinions on that too, but I will put it D, potentially high F. I'm actually okay with high F.
I think it can be high F. I don't think it's the worst movie in the
No.
MCU. I think there's another sequel movie that we'll talk about soon that's the worst movie in the MCU.
Yeah.
So,
But I
um,
don't mind Iron Man 2. I think and maybe that's because I love War Machine. He's probably one of my
if you
favorite
don't mind
design.
Iron Man 2, then we should put it in D tier because F tier is just
Okay.
movies I don't want to watch at all.
Now look, Iron Man 3 can be an F for me.
Really, I think Iron Man 3 is better.
See, I get a lot of people like Iron Man 3 more because it's more focused on Tony without the suit, which is cool. But I got so bored, Jake. I'm so sorry. I get so bored of this movie. There's way too much dialogue. The villains, I'm just like, I don't really care about them. I think the whole storyline with the little boy, I mean, I think that's a little interesting. But
It's one of
Tony
my
just make
favorite lines in the MCU is like,
yeah.
"Yeah, dads leave, don't be a pussy about it." He says to the kid. I think that's so funny.
But
Um,
it's just like the whole storyline with Tony just being so reckless in this movie. Like, oh, this is where I live. Come blow up my house, and then they actually do it. It was so reckless to me. Um, I don't know why I don't like this movie. I just don't. I don't have a lot of rewatchability for it too. I mean, prove me wrong.
I think in terms of an MCU movie, there is no impact. I mean, the thing with Pepper getting powers, redacted right away. Tony gives up being Iron Man, redacted right away. They set up Harley to be the new Iron Man. You don't see Harley again until Endgame. That being said, as a Shane Black film, because Shane Black is the director, it's solid. There's some spy elements, there's action, there's a mildly interesting villain. I think they just failed because they tried to subvert expectations way too hard. Do I think it's a great film? No. But I will fight you on it's better than Iron Man 2. I am okay putting it in D. And I think the reason it's better than Iron Man 2 is solely because you see the man underneath the suit, and then you see all of his suits. You see that Tony Stark's superpower was never the suit itself. He was the superpower the entire time. His brain, his maneuverability, and you see all of the Iron Man suits on full display. And isn't it fitting that the way they defeat what's his name with the face, another forgettable villain.
That's another thing that brings it down for me.
What's his name? Was they trap him in a suit and then blow him up.
Like the villain sucked in this movie, like just the whole organization. So like I meet you. I mean, I'm indifferent. Like I don't feel strongly about either one. So like they're equal to me. So I'll put it in D. I don't really care where I. Both of these movies kind of flop, and I won't be shocked if both of them move to F either. I will
Yeah,
say that. Um, but I feel like they actually should move in F. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm good putting him in F.
Yeah, let's do that. I just like I don't wake up and like look at the whole catalog and like, oh, let's watch Iron Man 2 or 3. Like, no, it's unfortunate that there's only one good Iron Man movie, but like he also steals a show in like all the Avengers movies and others. So
And he's
it's
the
like
main character in the Avengers movies.
yeah, he steals the Avengers movies, huge character in Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War,
Civil War. We'll
uh
talk about that soon. We'll talk about Civil War soon.
basically steals all the light from Peter Parker. So it's like I'm fine with it.
Speaking of Peter Parker, you want to go to Homecoming?
Sure, we can do the Spider-Man movies next. Go for it.
All right, let me pull up my list. I think Homecoming's a good movie. I don't think it's the best in the trilogy. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a fun new take on Spider-Man. You don't show the origin story because we know it. And I think John Watts trusted his audience enough to be like, okay, has one of the best villains in the MCU with the Vulture. I think that's partially due to the amazing casting of Michael Keaton. Um, and side note, looks like Michael Keaton's going to be the leader of the Sinister Six, which is going to be very cool.
Yes.
So with that being said, I am happy to give, pun intended, happy to give Spider-Man: Homecoming a B tier.
I'm cool with B. I'm cool with B. Homecoming isn't. I don't think any of the Spider-Man movies, in comparison to all of them, are bad. Actually,
I agree.
I think Homecoming isn't the best origin story out of all of
Yeah.
them. I will say that. Because you kind of just throw them in and you're expected to know the Spider-Man lore, which I don't like
I think
that
the
too
real
much.
origin story. I think the real origin story comes up in the third movie.
Yeah, it does. And that's kind of my jarring problem with Spider-Man movies and Disney. I don't think I feel like they're way too reliant on Iron Man lore and just like you knowing who Peter Parker is instead of walking your hand through it. And granted, they're finally trying to redo that with Spider-Man freshman year that's coming
Yeah.
soon. But it's like I when I first saw this, I actually fell asleep the first time because I'm like, oh, but I mean, it just feels like Peter isn't. He doesn't come into his own till the third movie. I like this one specifically. It feels like Iron Man has to clean up his mess a bunch. It feels like the Vulture literally is an entity because of Tony's doing. It just feels like it's just a whole bunch of Tony lore, and Spider-Man just gets thrown into it. I do like the high school aspect. I think Tom Holland does a great job here, and I liked his supporting cast. But mid-tier movie, mid-tier position.
What do you think about Far From Home?
Far From Home. So I feel like Far From Home. It might be a C tier for me
I'm
because
right there with you. I'm right there with you.
yeah, I think so. I do think Mysterio's cool, but like the first movie, I feel like this is even worse
I agree.
because I feel like
100%.
it's like Vulture. Granted, he just got fired, but he's not like F Tony Stark, da da da. They just steal their tech, whatever. This movie is straight up, hey, Iron Man fired me, and I'm taking my anger out on the world because of it, and then Peter has to clean up Tony's mess. And it's like
Yep.
it does, and then like Peter's decision just to give up the glasses so easily.
It's out of
And
character.
yeah, it's just like this movie. I just didn't care for it too much. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have much rewatchability for it. None of the fights are really that exciting. Even like the last one, which is cool, and the hologram fight, which is cool. It's unfortunate that it's all CG, and I just didn't really like. I'm like, okay, like whatever. It's an okay movie, but it's like it's nothing crazy for me. But how about you?
I'd put it right below Guardians 2.
I
I
agree.
think the best parts of this movie were the Mysterio illusions. I think Jake Gyllenhaal, sorry Swifties, did a really great job in this movie. I think he plays the role super well. I loved all the little attention to detail, like him showing up in the background of places, just spying on people. And I liked the romance between Happy and Aunt May. I think that
That
was
was
super
fun.
sweet. Um, but other than that, it felt tedious. It felt
Yeah.
pointless. It felt like the most exciting part of the movie were the two post credit scenes where they
Yes.
introduced J. Jonah Jameson and revealed his identity and showed that Nick Fury was a Skrull the entire time. And when you're just watching a movie to get to the end and see the post credit scene, you're not watching a good movie.
Sonyverse. But anyway, yeah, it's a mess. So, I mean, it's fine. It's just that if I have the options in front of me, I'm not like jumping to go watch either Homecoming or Far From Home. I
You
mean,
know what
No
I
Way Home. So, there you go.
you know what I am jumping to watch though?
S
Spider-Man
tier.
No Way Home.
S tier. Yes,
Solid
beautiful.
S tier.
Go for
Oh
it.
my god, what a great movie. They did it. They turned Spider-Boy into Spider-Man. He can whoop ass. He can save the day. He has no more Stark tech, no Aunt May to rely on. no Ned, no MJ. He is on his own. And who guides him to be capable enough at that moment? Who better than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man? It was a beautiful movie. I can't believe they pulled it off. A heart-wrenching finale. I cried multiple times throughout this movie. Spider-Man No Way Home is an easy S tier.
It's about time that they found, like, if this movie flopped, I would have give up all hope in Disney giving me a good Spider-Man film.
Me
Um,
too.
I Even though all the Peter crap, like, amazing, you preach to it. The villains really make, like, I
Oh
think
my god.
this movie really proved that, like, the villains are just as important as the heroes. Like, all the villains did a great job. Willem Dafoe killed it. I love Doc Ock. I love, even. I think this movie did the Sony Andrew Garfield universe justice that it deserved, because I loved Electro, and I love Lizard, and I love Andrew's Peter. Like, I loved everything about the Sonyverse in this movie. Like, I think Disney fixed everything that was wrong with it, because I was very irritated at that universe for the longest time, because I feel like Andrew had so much potential. It just had a crappy scenario, and now that those three characters got so much justice in this movie. I love Jamie Foxx's Electro in this. Um, I just
They
love.
took I need to talk about Jamie Foxx's Electro for
Uh,
1 second. They took the world's sexiest man, Jamie Foxx, and turned him blue, gave him a comb over and buck teeth. The problem was he was still attractive. Like, you cannot just take the hottest guy in the world and change a couple minor features and hope that he looks like an ugly dork. No, and his entire motivation in ASM2 was that, oh, no one remember my birthday. Like,
oh my
you did him
god.
so dirty, you did Andrew so dirty, but then John Watts came in and he's like, nah, Spider-Man, more like Spider my bitch. And he just took it and he's like, this is it. Great movie.
S tier for sure. All right, so we're not going to talk about Avengers yet. So let's hop over to Ant Man. Seems to the next movie. Your guy, Ant Man.
I love
So
Ant-Man.
how you feel about Ant
Um,
Man 1?
I would give it a B tier, most
Okay.
likely. I don't think I could justify giving it an A tier. Uh, but as a character study, I think it is a really nice, fun movie that recuperates from Avengers Age of Ultron in a very nice way. Because this was coming off, the world almost just ended. Ultron almost destroyed the world. And then you have this small tale about family and a heist. And they did a heist movie in the MCU. And the anticipation for this movie was pretty low. And I have to say, like, I was expecting quite a few answers for Avengers related questions, but by the end of it, I was satisfied that I didn't get those answers that I was looking for, and a new I can't think of any more bug puns. A new respect for a hero played so well. So I think I'd put it either right above or right below Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, I think I would put it below Homecoming. I think Ant Man is a fun movie. I think the villain kind of misses the mark a little bit, because I mean, he's not that memorable, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it was Wasp. Is that what he was?
No, he was the
Um,
Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket. There we go. I mean, but I liked seeing the origin of the character. I think it was the comedy hit right where it needed to hit. I love the supporting cast. Like, I forget what his name is, but the one Hispanic dude that
Luis.
Luis is one of the best, funniest characters in the MCU. It's freaking hysterical where he tells his stories and everything. I love the whole segment where Ant-Man's learning how to use a suit, and training with the ants, and like, that's always a fun time to watch. Hank Pym, awesome character in this movie as well. I think they did everything great for it's one of the better origin stories, but I don't like, I'll go back and watch it every now and then, but like, it's not high on my demand list. Like, to be in an A, like, I have to, like, oh, I want to watch this movie. So
Yeah.
there you go. Um Ant-Man and a Wasp. How do we feel about that one?
I'd give it a D.
Yeah,
I found it very lackluster. I thought once again the most exciting point was the end credit scene, and I thought it was. I think the
unfortunately.
end credit scene is the most haunting moment. Well, Multiverse of Madness kind of takes that now, but before Multiverse of Madness, the end credit scenes were the most haunting moments in the MCU. Just Scott screaming for help and no one's there, and then the sound of the emergency broadcast signal and people screaming in the background. Haunting. That being said, the villain wasn't memorable. The Wasp is just I don't like Evangeline Lilly at all.
Oh,
And that's just issues with her actress and some of her beliefs and
oh, okay,
comments. So,
okay,
I'm 100% biased on this. Um,
same.
and I think her performance as the Wasp, little lackluster. It was just let's be mean to Scott. I think Michael Douglas is great though. Also, why the fuck does Michelle Pfeiffer have makeup in the quantum realm? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing there?
So this movie, I think it really struggles because it's placed in an area that was like right after freaking Infinity War. And it's
Yeah, I
like
don't know why they keep doing that to Ant-Man. They put him right
yeah,
after the big Avengers movies.
and it's like it didn't have much like impact. I did like the whole dynamic where he I think it was this movie where was is this the movie where he has to get home before the cops find
Yes.
out where I
Oh, this
like
was
that
Jimmy Woo's
storyline.
introduction. I like
Yeah,
Jimmy Woo. He's a
I
good
like Jimmy
introduction.
Woo in this movie. He was fine. The supporting cast, another movie, freaking great. I love Louise. Ghost kind of misses the mark a little bit. I didn't care too much for Ghost. Even though allegedly she might be in the Thunderbolt, so I'm curious to see how that happens. They swore up and down that they were going to heal her situation, and then they all got snapped. So who knows where the hell she is? But I hope she got her quantum sickness fixed or whatever. Um, the best part of this movie was the quantum realm. I did like that a lot. I like to see there's still that one shot of that little kingdom. I swear that's the TVA still. I really swear it's the TVA. I
Oh,
think it is. But there's that little city in the quantum realm. We don't know what the hell it is. I'm sure we're going to see that in the Quantum Mania movie.
which is
It,
my most anticipated MCU movie at the moment.
yeah, I'm
Um,
so excited to see that. But
I
yeah, it's a
want to say
date.
one other. Sorry.
Oh
Uh,
no, you go.
I want to say one more thing. They
Go.
have one of my favorite actors, Lawrence Fishburne, in this movie, and they don't use him
Down.
well.
Yeah, they don't.
Um, he's cast
I
as
like him.
Goliath. He's cast as Goliath, which is such a cool character, and he literally all it is like, yeah, I grew to like 7 feet or however tall he did. So hopefully he comes back and does actual Goliath stuff. But if not, you wasted a pretty good actor, Marvel.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the only upside, another upside, the fight scenes were kind of cool with Wasp. So
Yeah.
I'll give her that. But so I see a Captain America movie, so we can do 3 Captain America movies. So, my opinion on Captain America 1, I actually think this is a movie I love rewatching. I think I don't know if I want to call it the best origin story yet, but it's up there. I think it's one of the better origin stories. You can see you get God, what is Captain America's role? Steve Rogers. You can see Steve as a weakling. You can see him get the soldier serum and still not really get his opportunity until like he really goes out there and saves a bunch of soldiers. It's a war story. You know, it's a war story for the first half. And then they incorporate all the Marvel pixie dust at the end portion with the Red Skull, with the whole Nazi storyline. Eventually, Hydra is formed, which I mean obviously plays dividends because you got the scientist who shows up in the second movie. And what if you get to see the Tesseract really, where it's like our first time really getting to see what Infinity Stone's all about. And the ending is actually pretty interesting. I think it's a satisfying ending where he's like, I had a date with Peggy Carter. I love Peggy Carter in this movie. I think she's awesome. Winter Soldier obviously pops back up. There's a whole lot of stuff that kickstarts in this movie that affects the MCU at a later date. Where you can't really say that with movies like the Iron Man movies. To be honest with you, you can't really say that with
Thor.
the Ant-Man movie story. Like Captain America actually. The stuff carries over to future events, so I appreciate that. So I think it's one of the more important movies, and I actually like watching it. So I personally would put it at an A. How do you feel about it?
I I'm not as big on it as you are. I
Okay.
cannot get behind that whole 25-minute montage of him like learning lines and in his spandex and like being a
Yeah.
propaganda piece. Um I thought it was a good movie. I'm willing to compromise and put it in B because I'd have it
Okay.
at
I can do
C.
that. I will do
Um
that.
I'd be willing to put it
We could put it in the middle.
fine, we're not gonna Ant-Man lower, but that's fine. That's whatever. Um No, I'm good with that. I think it's an interesting villain who was clearly liked enough to bring back. I think it introduces Steve and Bucky very well. Um, but it does start with the formula of a foreign scientist helping the main character, which was already done in Iron Man. So I'm not as high on it as you are. I think it's the weakest of the three Captain America films.
That's fair.
Um, Speaking of the three Captain America films, Winter Soldier, tell me your thoughts.
So I actually think, first of all, I think all three Captain America movies are very strong. Um, so me saying what I'm about to say doesn't mean much, but I think this is the weaker one out of all three of them. I think it doesn't feel so. It's a Captain America focused movie. I like Winter Soldier, but I think I like Winter Soldier a lot more in the third movie because I feel like he gets more focus. I
I feel
think,
like hold on. I feel like we need to like skip to the third for a second because we both agree the third's an S, right?
yeah, absolutely. Um,
I think third is like
so it's an
uh,
S. I'm gonna save the conversation for next,
okay.
but I think with the second one, my issue with it is that it also feel. I mean, it's more like a origin story for like Falcon, and then this is really like the first real like Black Widow movie. I mean, I know there's Avengers and stuff, but like we're really getting like more Black Widow focus here. Um, I don't know, like the ending isn't that satisfying because it's like no one really gets defeated if you look at the full picture. It's just kind of like an unfinished story. Like it
I
kind of moves
disagree.
on.
I
You think so?
disagree strongly.
Why?
One, it is a intense spy thriller in the
You
MCU. That
love
is
spy
truly
movies. I've noticed that.
it has not been done to the extent of Captain America Winter Soldier. One, the stakes in this movie have never been higher. Even in Avengers, these are the most personal stakes that a main character has had. The main antagonist is his best friend in the entire world.
I will
Um,
say I will give Captain Marvel credit for spy movies because I do think that
Captain Marvel.
yes, because I think Nick Fury in that movie does a great job with the whole spy aspect. I will give him that.
Um, the final fight between "You're my mission," then finish it. While I think TikTok took that sound and kind of ruined it a little bit, in the context of that movie, beautiful. Everything falling behind them. You have Falcon, Widow teaming up to take down Hydra. You have the fake out of Nick Fury death. This is an A tier for me.
Okay,
This is a solid A tier for me. I will compromise. I will put it below Iron Man, but I really think this is an
that's
A tier
fair.
for
I'll
me.
do that. I'll do that. That's fair. Now,
Um,
to be fair, I haven't watched it in a while, so maybe I got to
this
do
is the
another
movie
rewatch.
that saved Captain America. It was the
I
first
didn't think
Russo
he needed to
brother
be
movie.
saved. You think he needed to be saved?
Well, I mean, rewatch the first one and you'll
I
see
have.
he's just a good guy. He's a Gary Sue.
Yes. Okay.
This one
Okay.
gives him like a conflicting thing. He's like, I always thought I was doing the right thing, but am I? And
Yeah.
then you have Civil War, which
That's where I think it does that, but like the best states whatsoever. So
I would put. Here's the real question: do you put Civil War below or above No Way
I will
Home?
put it above. I think
I would too. I would
As much
too.
as I enjoy No Way Home, I think it's also just like a whole lot of nostalgia and like fan service. Where
Yeah.
I think Civil War is just a concrete story. I think Zemo is one of the best villains that they've created, easily the most successful because he actually completes his goal,
Yeah.
and completely ruins everything. I'll enjoy the callbacks to the previous Avenger movies where like you guys actually like need some consequences. You messed a lot of stuff up. Um, I love Black Panther's introduction, Spider
Oh yeah.
Man's introduction, Ant Man's first time teaming up with, like, this was such a hype movie when it first came out, and there's like no Thor, no Hulk, so it's like it's very even. Wanda's with the crew, Vision, like it was. This is honestly an Avengers movie, but just with the title Captain America. Like it's awesome.
Thank you, because I was thinking the same thing. This is Iron Man 4, this is Captain America 3, this is Avengers 2. Earth
Yeah,
2.5.
this is a. I never saw this as a Captain America movie. I've always saw this as an Avengers movie. I remember it was like, are you Team Iron Man or Team Captain America? Now, hot take, I'm 100% Team Iron Man. I'll never go back on that. But it was dope, 100%, and I loved it. All right. Um, next we got the Doctor Strange movies. So,
I'm gonna
all
piss some people off with this one. You take the first one, I'll take the second one.
right. So Doctor Strange one. I've watched it twice. The first time I was not too high on it. The second time,
I thought you were saying I wasn't high when I watched it the first. Because
the
I
first
was.
one, I wasn't high on it, but the second watch, I was a little bit higher on it. I don't think it's the best movie at all. I think the villains are so forgettable. Like I don't care about them.
They took a
Um,
Doctor Who icon and made him into one of
yeah,
the most lame villains. He had one funny line, but
yeah.
that's it.
I think Strange. I think Wong, breakout character. I did not expect Wong to be so important. He killed it, and I think God, what's the bald lady's name?
The ancient one,
The
Tilda
ancient one.
Swinton.
She's good too. I enjoyed the CG in this movie. I enjoy like the whole sequence of him fighting and getting his cape, him having to get back to his body, the car crash. It's a fun movie. It's just I don't willingly go back to watch this movie. I've watched it again once, so I would put it in like C tier, top C tier personally.
I agree with you 100%. I will say I think Marvel royally fucked up by casting Tilda Swinton as the ancient one because the ancient
Yeah.
one is written to be a person of color, and they knew that, and they casted a white lady to do it. And Marvel has done that before, and every time it doesn't end well. And
Yeah.
I shame on them for doing that.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about Multiverse of Madness.
Go
Uh,
for it. Go for it.
bottom of D tier. I did not like Multiverse of Madness. I think
I'm
if
gonna
it was
agree with
called,
you. Yeah.
I think if it was called Wanda or Scarlet Witch and it followed her, it would be a lot better. Doctor Strange was the lamest character in the movie. The cameos were clear fan service, and I found it to be insulting that they just brought him back to kill him in 5 minutes. I think their attempt to do alternate Captain Marvel was horrible. Because that's not how she's written in the comics. I think Reed Richards being the smartest man alive and then being like, oh, one word out of his mouth and then and she's like, what mouth? But it led to one of my favorite memes ever. It was the D's nuts guy, and he's like, "Hey Wanda, guess what came in the mail today?" She's like, "What?" And he's like, "D's nuts," and she's like, "What nuts?" But I think the only reason this isn't an F tier is Wanda and Elizabeth Olsen's performance, and Wong. I love Wong.
So I feel, first of all, I think Doctor Strange's journey, I didn't care too much for it. I didn't
I didn't care either.
it feels like he just like can't get a girlfriend, and like whatever universe he is, he's never gonna get a girlfriend.
I mean, we've all been there, though. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I think Wanda kills the show. I feel like it should have just been called Wanda's Vision the movie, because like steals the show. I think Wong is great. America Chavez, I like her. I like her character actually. I think that she'll be fun for the Young Avengers. Um, but outside of the fight scenes and the amazing film and camera angles and all that stuff from God, director's
Sam
name,
Raimi.
Sam Raimi, amazing job. The story kind of didn't. When you have a title called Multiverse of Madness,
The script was bad too. The
I
script was
feel
just bad.
I just feel like I wasted my time watching What If just for a Captain Carter reference for her to get killed immediately. I'm just like, there were so many great characters in What If, and they just never came in the movie. I was like, where I just wanted to see the Doctor Strange with the orb with the two versions of Killmonger and the Doctor just like
Yeah,
trying to
no,
kill each other.
that's Doctor Strange Supreme.
I
That's who
wanted
we
to
are
see
led to believe
him,
is in this movie, and he
or the
was.
Watcher. I wanted to see the Watcher. There's so many characters. I felt like I wasted my time watching What If a bit. I expected to see more, like at least a dip into the Marvel Zombies universe. It like a lot of people were like, "Oh, there's not cameos." I actually didn't care for the cameos. I just wanted to go to
Yeah,
more than two multiverses.
it was just it. I found the movie disappointing, so I'd put it low D. I'd go high F if you want to, but I lean more towards low D.
I would put it high D, only because
Okay.
I think Scarlet Witch was awesome in this movie. The only thing I don't like about Scarlet Witch was her dying to some rubble. Like
She's alive. She'll be
like
alive.
yeah. I like the Professor X though. Professor X, John Krasinski, all that. But I'm not gonna watch this movie 1,000 times just to see the Illuminati scene. Like, come on now. There's more to the movie than that. And I enjoy that they try to be different with the gore and everything. Like
I
they
respected it.
tried
I
stuff.
respected it.
Yeah. But I'm not high on that movie like everyone else is. I'm just not. Um, I see Thor, so I guess we're going to talk about Thor movies next. Where's Thor? All right, go ahead.
Thor 1's okay. See? I mean, like, it's nothing special. It introduces Loki. It's a fish out of water story, a Shakespearean tragedy come to Earth. Um, I think uh I'm not super high on the first two Thor movies, and you will see exactly what I think about Thor 2 very soon, and I'm sure we think
So,
the same thing. Um,
real quick, I think Thor 1 is under Multiverse of Madness.
alright, I'm
Um,
fine with it. I'm fine with it.
I don't have the first two Thor I don't even need to talk about. I don't care about them that much. The
Alright,
second
let's
one's
just
the
put
worst
Thor.
one.
Yeah,
It's the
let's
worst
put Thor
one.
2 where it belongs. It's the worst movie in the MCU.
It's horrible.
Um,
It's I don't know what the hell they were thinking doing this movie, but horrible. Horrible movie. I don't even want to talk about the first two if I'm gonna be real.
but thank God for Taika Waititi for making an A tier movie.
Yeah.
I think
Thank
Thor
God.
Ragnarok is great. I think it's a solid A tier in my eyes. Do you think it's S?
Yeah.
I would put it at the bottom of S. I'm willing to
I
put it at the
agree. I
bottom of
think
S.
Ragnarok fixed Thor movie. I'm so excited to see Love and Thunder. How the hell does Thor have four movies? But I'm curious to see how Love and Thunder is because I think Ragnarok fixed this character. And it's interesting because it's like the only one that's not really in Asgard. Like it's doing more. It's more like a Guardians movie, like it's space themed. But I'm okay with that. I think Thor's actually a character now instead of just like some
Yeah.
character you ripped out of Shakespeare books. I think Hulk was great in this movie. I think the villain, she was great. Valkyrie,
Hella was great. Valkyrie was
hello,
great.
Valkyrie was great. Freaking Korg, like God, I did not know I needed Korg in my life. And Loki, great character, great. I love Loki after this movie. I'm glad he had his own series. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not much else to talk about. I think it's a S tier movie. I think it's one of the most complete ones and most satisfying out of all of them.
I agree.
Uh, all right, real quick, easy clap. Hulk won. I mean, is
I
it
put it
like
bottom of D.
yeah? I was gonna say it's not that high. It's
Because
it
one thing I'll give Hulk stylistically, it's really nice. I mean,
yeah.
the how it turns things into comic panels, the editing for Ed Norton, it was really nice. the reason people are so down on it is because it was the second movie in the MCU, and they didn't really find their footing yet. They didn't know they were going to go for the comedy approach, so they made this dark, gritty Hulk with another studio.
In a different actor.
Yeah,
Um, I think the fight between Hulk and Abomination now is probably one of the better fights in MCU. I'm not gonna lie. I think,
I'm good putting it above Thor,
damn.
or at least above. No, I'm good putting it
You
above
know what?
Ant-Man
Yeah,
and
why
Wasp.
not? Why not? Why not? Yeah, I'm cool with that. Why not? I think, yeah, I'm okay with that. And the fact that we're getting Abomination in the MCU again means that it's like there's some sort of relevance there.
Can I
You
make a
know?
pitch really quick?
Yeah.
I want to bump Iron Man 3 up to the bottom of D tier.
Why not? Go for it.
Because I feel like pretty soon, looking
You
at
know
what's
what? I'm fine
left,
with putting this right here.
I'm good with that
Right
too.
there.
I'm good with it being either right about the same or right above Hulk.
Yeah.
Because if you look at some of the movies left, two of them in particular, I think will be joining F tier in my eyes pretty soon. But
About to find out. Um.
let's talk about a
So
good movie though.
Black Panther.
Black
Commercially one
Panther.
of the better movies.
What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, I freaking love. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can say whatever. Listen, I needed a black superhero. I got what I wanted, but it's not even that. Wakanda is so awesome. I think the music, they got Kendrick Lamar to make a whole freaking album for this movie. The music was awesome. I could listen to that album so many times. Um, Chadwick killed the role in Civil War and it did even better in this movie. Shuri, even though we have feelings towards the actress, she did a great job in this movie. Michael B. Jordan, one of the best villains in the
Stand
entire
out.
MCU.
Stand out.
Killmonger was freaking awesome. I even like M'Baku. Oh my god, how can I not talk about Okoye, one of my favorite
Corey, yep.
characters in the MCU. Awesome. Like this movie is just so fun. I'm very skeptical, scared, but also excited to see what they do in Black Panther 2. But awesome movie in general. Like this, I think even though I love Chadwick, I really love Michael B. Jordan. I think he's the best actor in this movie. Personally, he's my favorite part about this movie. But how do you feel about it?
I
I
would put
forgot
it.
to say S. But go ahead.
So I'm okay with it being S. In my personal ranking, it's top of A.
I'm
Um,
okay with that too. I'm okay with that too.
there's no denying this is a fantastic movie, and because it's so good, similarly with Ragnarok and No Way Home and Civil War, I get a little more nitpicky. I just think the CGI is pretty bad at some points, especially
That's
in the
what I'm okay
train
with
fight
it.
at the end. But there is no denying that Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan act their asses off in this movie, and it shows, and I adore them. And my heart breaks that Chadwick will not be in Black Panther 2. Um, I am scared for it. Uh, but my best friend went to Howard, and they had a whole exclusive premiere because Chadwick also went to Howard. And they had an exclusive premiere, and just the way my best friend talked. My best friend is black, and for those listening, I'm white. The way my best friend talked about having a black superhero, how he finally felt seen, and just hearing that emotion in him and hearing how excited he was, nothing will ever take that away. So
Mm.
I'm good. I'm good. I kind of want to move it to S. What do you
All
think?
right, cool. I'm cool with that. Why not?
Yeah.
I'll never forget the freaking. I can't scream. I can't wait for the Okoye series because she's one of my favorite.
Okay, Okoye getting a series is awesome. Her
Yeah,
jumping in front of the rhino and it's stopping was fucking awesome.
yeah. And he was like, "You're gonna really kill me, Molly?" She's like, "For Wakanda, I'll do anything." I was like, "Ooh." Or like the car scene where like she throws her javelin and it completely stops from like Okoye is awesome. Like I
Hot
love the
take.
Dora Milaje.
Hot take. Okoye should have been the next Black Panther, but that's
Yeah, I understand why they didn't for narrative reasons because of the construct, but it's like y'all just made Miss Marvel completely different from her character in the comics, so I
mhm,
don't want to hear
mhm.
anything.
I don't want to
Um
hear it.
I don't want to hear it, but there you go. Um okay. Captain Marvel. I got opinions. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I'm not as low on it as everyone else. Um, I put it high D, low C. I think it was boring, but I think it had some standout moments. I think Nick Fury was great. I think Ben Mendelsohn was great. And I think Jude Law was great. That being said, I think the way they wrote Captain Marvel, they wrote her to be unlikable. And they wrote this narrative of men bad, suppressing emotions. Don't do that, which is great, but it really just shows like it I'm trying to think of how to explain this. It really just stifles the character growth because there is no growth. It's just, oh, okay, I can just do what I want and I'm the strongest.
Yeah, no,
Captain
I mean it's
Marvel
kind of
is the
my issue.
strongest.
Yeah, and that's my issue with the Superman movie. It's just like just don't care. Like I'm not gonna lie. So the scrolls, I'm invested now that I know that they have a big impact, but I didn't give a damn about the scrolls when I first saw this. I'm just like, okay. Like I was really invested in the Nick Fury backstory and Coulson and all. Like I liked to see Shield in Nick
Yeah,
Fury. I feel like that was the best part of this movie. I like Carol. I actually don't hate her like everyone else does. I just wish that she had a better foe to go against because like the villains even in this movie was kind of boring.
they were
Um,
very boring and forgettable. They were so
that's my
boring and
issue.
forgettable that they took one of them and cast them as the lead in Eternals.
There you go. That's why I'm like, I'm just so bored with when I have a bad villain. Notice every movie down here does not have a good villain, and that's going to actually well,
Well,
other than Doctor
except
Strange, but oh, Abomination too, sort of. But
yeah,
um, I'm gonna put it low C. Why not? I think
I'm go with that. I'm go with that.
I watch it. I will watch it again over these. So. All right, we got a couple solo films left. There's no more sequels. We're not ranking WandaVision. I don't know why they put that on here.
Which
Black
one you want to do?
Widow. Black Widow's next.
Okay.
It's a F, man.
F. Yeah. I don't think
It's
it's
at the
bottom of F. I
bottom.
think I like it more than Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Um, I think there are some standouts. I think Florence Pugh and David Harbour are great.
Yeah.
I like the beginning, and then Scarlett Johansson shows up, and I don't like it as much. Um,
Yelena's the best part of this movie.
I agree.
Um, and Taskmaster is also very fun. What she
What?
also before
You
she
liked Taskmaster?
the concept of Taskmaster, I don't mind. Where you could just mimic everything. Like I think that's freaking awesome. But I don't like the direction that they took with Taskmaster in this one because I don't think Taskmaster is like this in the comics. Um,
No,
because
not at all.
yeah,
Taskmaster is this iconic, witty, like rival that can imitate people,
yeah,
not a silent cyborg.
yeah. I remember watching him in I mean playing against him in the Avengers video game as well. It's just like I mean, I get why they did what they did with this one. Like I said, they could make a Koya Black Panther because they do whatever they want. But
Mhm.
it's just like she like I don't really care about the characters in this one. I remember I think his name was Red Tornado, Red Riot or something.
Red Guardian.
Red Guardian. He was kind of funny, but like even like the character dynamic with the family, they were just very awkward. Yelena is really the only person that ever returned to this movie because like I think she was awesome and I
Yeah.
enjoyed her character, but outside of her, like that's it. I didn't really care about Black Widow because she's already dead. They probably would have had a better time with this movie if they did it before she died.
This should have
Um,
come out before, like after Civil War, like right
yeah,
after.
that would have been a perfect place to put it. Um, but we might be seeing Taskmaster again in Thunderbolts allegedly. We'll see about that. But
I think we're seeing Yelena. I don't know if we're seeing Taskmaster.
might
We
see
might. I
both.
don't know. I don't
Might
know.
see both. Yelena guaranteed, but we might see both. We'll see. Um, but there you go. Shang-Chi is next. I think it's the best origin story potentially. I don't know if
I
that's
agree. I think
impulsive.
it's top of A. I think it's right
Yeah,
at the top of A.
yeah, I agree.
I love Shang-Chi. I think the only reason it's not S is because it goes all Marvel at the end and he flies the dragon.
Yeah,
But
who's
like,
supposed to be Fing Fam Foom? I like
is he really?
it should have been. I know that in the comics at least that's supposed to be Fing Fam Foom's spot, but yeah,
Incredible villain, incredible character. Um, kind of wish they would have cast Katie as someone who wasn't Aquafina, but
Mm,
uh, I think Shang-Chi solid A tier.
sister's cool as hell too.
I
Um,
didn't see enough of her in the movie. I think
yeah.
there needs to be a little more.
Well, she might get a Disney Plus series allegedly. We'll see about that. And also the fact, I mean, I don't know if you saw Miss Marvel, the last episode, we're getting callbacks to Shang-Chi stuff.
We are.
Did you watch the last episode?
I did.
There's a Ten Rings organization is allegedly the place that they're stealing the bracelet from.
Oh,
Um, and if you look at the pictures, the bracelet close up looks just like the Ten Rings. So it might be this Jatar. I mean, it might be Kree tech.
oh
So
shoot.
allegedly, people think that the Ten Rings are sending a beacon to the Kree to come get their tech back. And who has their tech? You got Shang-Chi and you got Miss Marvel, both with a Kree tech. So you know that's a theory that's going around. But they're 100% the Ten Rings organization is where the Bengal was. So it's interesting. But yeah, all right, almost out of here. We got a couple left before we get to the. Oh, we actually have one left, and then we get to the Avengers movies, which should be a fun conversation. Got the Eternals. So I'm curious. What is your opinion on the Eternals?
I'm not high on them.
Okay.
I think there are some. I think Gilgamesh was my favorite.
Yeah.
I also like Fastos.
Is it the
Um,
Fast Girl?
no, Fastos is Brian Tyree Henry. He was the gay one.
Okay.
He was so witty, so smart. And I liked the villain, kind of.
Which
There's
one?
another.
There's too many.
This is an F for me. This is an F tier. I think the best part is visually it looks nice, but even at the end when you have the characters saying like, "Did we do the right thing?" and they're like, "I don't know, man." Like this just should have been a Disney Plus show. There was too
Yeah.
much. There's too many characters.
So I like the main character. I think she's fun. There's too many characters to introduce in this movie, so you don't really remember their names. Um, I will put the before I get into specifics. I will put this top of D because I like
You
it
put it
slightly
top
more.
of D.
I like it slightly more than Multiverse of Madness. I think so. My big issue with this movie is the deviant storyline because I feel like either A, they should have ended it before they even got to the final fight. There's no reason for like the prime deviant to be at the end.
Yeah.
Um, uh, the one dude, Superman wannabe, I forget his name, but he's. I understand his reasoning. That's literally what they were created for. I like the Celestials. I like the Eternals as a group. I don't like Sprite. I think her name is. I don't like her.
I
You know what I mean?
cannot stand that character.
Yeah.
That betrayal. The, I'm willing to compromise. For me, it's low F. I'm willing to compromise. I'll put it right underneath Iron Man 3. Is that
That's
okay?
fine. Let's do that.
But
Let's
then
do
I
that.
feel like we should knock Ant-Man and the Wasp down to F.
I'm okay with that as well. Yeah, it's just like the fight scenes are freaking awesome. I think this movie actually does CG like better than like most of the movies film wise as well. And I mean I enjoyed the lore and like seeing like the whole scene like where he completely mind controls the war and they stop fighting or
Yeah,
like
that's pretty interesting.
the one girl who's like mute who like running like she did what the Flash movie should have been doing for years. Like those that was freaking awesome, but it's just like it just misses the mark in some areas.
And
But
like they the child sprite says, "Why did they make us like this?"
I don't
And
like
that's
Sprite.
a great question
Yeah.
because they're making the ultimate fighting machines. So why not make them these strong, big people? Why make them children?
Why are they
Why?
all human too?
It's just so annoying. The movie annoys me. I went on it with a date with someone, and I like had to act like I was interested because she was just so excited to see Harry Styles, and I'm just like, yeah, this is nice. She's like, what part did you like? I was like, I like the colors, and yeah, I'm not a super big Eternals fan.
Okay. And last week we got the four Avengers movies. So let's do an order. Avengers 1. How do you feel about it?
I'm sorry. I think Avengers 1, top of A, maybe even S. I think it was incredible that it was done. I think out of the writing for all of them, I think it's a little weak. Um, but I think the nostalgia and the idea of bringing these characters together is something special.
So I think it has some iconic moments. I don't think it ages well, shockingly, but I still enjoy it for what it is. I wouldn't put it top of A though. I would keep it in A, but
You want to do underneath Winter Soldier?
yeah, yeah, that's what I want to do. I was trying to figure out. I'm like, yeah, I would watch these before this again, but I enjoy it for what it is, and I like Loki in it as well.
Yeah,
It's definitely
Loki's
the
a good villain.
weakest. It's definitely the weakest out the Avengers movies, though.
Oh, I
Um,
disagree. I disagree. I think
what you
Ultron's the
say?
weakest.
People hate on this movie for no reason, in my opinion. I like
I just
Ultron.
I like it. I just don't think it's as good. I'd put it top of B because I think it's close to the original Avengers. I just think it's the weakest. I think there's
That's
a lot of
fair. That's
leaks and
fair.
fallacies that are address are. Oh, shoot. Hold on one second.
Okay, no, go for it. While Jake's doing that, yeah, I just when it comes to Age of Ultron, I think that it's interesting. I like Ultron as a villain. I definitely think he's probably one of my favorite villain portrayals because like he does something that actually affects the world and like people talk about it for years. Um I enjoyed Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in this movie, despite Quicksilver getting killed off at some point. Um yeah, I enjoyed even Vision, like Vision joining. Like I just love Ultron. I loved the voice actor. I loved all of it. It's just that there's better. The ending of it isn't as satisfying, if that makes any sense. Like there
It's
could have
not
been
a
a better.
satisfying ending. Also, the
Yeah,
post-credit scene of Thanos going, "Fine, I'll do
I'll
it
do it
myself."
myself.
What is he talking about?
Yeah, I was like, what is he gonna revive Ultron or some shit? Like what are you talking about? Now I will say, what if maybe like Ultron even more with
Yeah, Ultron being the main antagonist of What If really made me like the character.
yeah, but there you go.
I
I
have a
also
hot
liked him
take
killing
about
Jarvis. But go ahead.
Infinity War.
You don't like it?
I think it's the best movie in the MCU.
Oh, is that a hot take?
Oh,
That's a
never
that's a
mind.
that's a great take. That's a correct take. Yeah.
I mean, it is a beautiful character study that is done so right. It hits you in the heart. It has funny moments, and it shows Thanos going on a hero's journey. And when they can make the main villain go on the hero's journey, it
Yeah.
has to reign supreme.
That's a correct take. That's not a hot take. It's the amount of rewatchability this movie has is the highest out of every movie on this list. Like I can watch this as many times. Like the only other movie that maybe can rival that is like No Way Home at this moment now. But Infinity War, full of action, full of great writing, full of fun character scenes. You get to see a lot of characters meet for the first time. Thanos, this is Thanos' movie. Like if I'm
Yeah,
gonna be honest, this is
Thanos is the main
Thanos' movie.
character.
Yeah, like this movie is fire, and I love it. It's awesome. Um, Now let me see if this is a hot take. I'm not that high on Endgame. I
My
think
brother in Christ, if Endgame is not an S, I will leave this podcast
it's
immediately.
S, but it's not top of S like I think some people put it. I think
I put it underneath Civil War.
I would put it under Homecoming.
Homecoming?
I mean, oh my God, Homecoming. No Way Home. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm good with that. I'm good with
I
that.
I think it's fine, but like I don't. It's first of all, it's a little too long. Which
Yeah.
good. I wanted this movie to be long. It's the ending to a whole saga. But it's like it's very slow. Like it's fun the first time because like it's the first time, but like going back to watch it, it's kind of a snooze fest. And I don't even care about the time heist that much. Like I kind of find myself skipping to the end when like everyone's back after they get snapped back, and then you get to see the whole final confrontation with Thanos and everything. That's really where like I enjoy it. But um even like the whole concept of time, even to this day, it's just kind of
I'm confused
stupid.
by it. I'm
Yeah,
confused.
and like they're trying to simplify it with the TVA. Like it's so confusing because it's like where the hell was the TVA when they were like jumping times and everything? Like it doesn't make any sense. So that portion I was worried about. I like the end portion where you're getting a lot of stories resolved and it kind of kickstarts like Loki and Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier and
Captain
WandaVision.
Falcon.
Uh, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. Like it's kickstarting a bunch of Disney Plus series, which is also kind of interesting. But yeah, I think the second half of the movie is where it's strong. The first half I'm just kind of like boring, you know. So
I think it's the best Hawkeye has ever been.
oh, for sure, yeah, easy, even better than his own series. Like this is the best in general we've seen of Clint. Um, yeah,
So should we now go through the tiers and make sure they're in the good order?
sure. So do you want to change anything in S?
Um, I think I think what we need to do is we put Black Panther top of A and Avengers top of B.
I'm okay with that. All right, so how about A tiers? That's fine.
Um, do you think it's fine?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm good with it.
B tier, I'm
I
okay
put
with.
Homecoming up. I'd put Homecoming above Ultron.
I'm indifferent, so that's okay. Um, C tier, um, I am fine with.
I'm okay with it.
D tier, I am fine with, even though I think Eternals is better than Iron Man 3. We're gonna leave it alone.
I'll put Eternals above Iron Man 3.
I don't care. Are you sure?
I'll do it. No, I'll do it just for you.
Okay, cool. Hey. Um, and F tier, I mean, I don't care. These are all horrible movies. Um,
They all
yeah,
have two of them have good moments. I think Black Widow and Ant-Man and the Wasp have decent moments. I think Iron Man and Thor 2 just suck.
yeah, I agree. Well, but there you have it. We did it in an hour 17. It's actually not as long as I thought this was going to take. This is a regular length podcast, which is fine and dandy and cool. And this is our first stream.
We did it. We're heroes.
um, well, anyone listening, thanks for watching and checking and hanging out with us. This is a fun time. This is our first tier list that we've done, our debate club, as Jake wants to call it. But I have a fun time with it. So when I post this, ultimately, I'll put the tier list with it as well, and I'll be prepared for everyone to say this list sucks. Why is this over this? Why is this under this?
Oh,
I
I
can't
know
wait
we're
for
gonna get
it.
roasted. We are gonna get roasted for this
I
one.
can't wait. Listen, that's my favorite part of doing this. I don't care. But yeah, if you're listening, thanks for listening to the Marvelous Duo podcast. Please check it out. Rate it if you enjoy it. If it's a 5, if it's not, don't rate at all. Just wait till the next episode. Jake, thanks for hanging out. Where can people find you?
Thanks so much for having me. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake's Takes 7.
Okay, and like usual, you can
Isaiah,
find me
where
at
can they find you?
they can find me at 8 Ball Bangers, here on Silent Podcast, also talking about Total Drama Island or Action now. Talking about other movies. I literally just recorded and posted the At the Movies podcast where we spoke about Hustle and Detective Pikachu, so you can listen to that. And Big Brother starting soon, so you can hear me talking about that as well. Over here. You can find me on the Purple Pants podcast, RHAP, and all that other fun stuff. But until next week, when we've figured out what we want to talk about, you can find us here. So until next week, have a good one. Bye.